Hey, welcome to For Progress Weekly What the Fuck Report. I'm Punker Mike. That's Aaron.
Hey, what's up, bro?
Hey, dude, what's happening?
Oh, not much. We got this thing now. So, it's the bottom of the line. What this model is, what it says on the box is, but Grandma, everybody else has a podcast and I want a podcast too, so take me to Guitar Center and get me a podcasting. So that's what this is. It's totally bottom of the line starter kit thing that I got at Guitar Center. So hopefully it improves our sound a little bit. And Mike's going to get one of these, hey Grandma, I want a podcast too setups. And so we're slightly less janky, bro. You know what I mean? But anyway, we can get into it. A number of things happened this week, bro, but something, you have a new hero, Michael?
I do. I have a new American hero. Oh my God, what's his name? Reed.
Reading.
I'm gonna have to go find this guy's now. Yeah, I can't remember. Reed. He's the dude that drove his truck into the Ten Commandments monument.
Yeah.
They just put up.
Yeah. And he's done it. He's done it twice now, right?
Yes, he's done it twice. Michael Tate Reed.
Michael Tate Reed. What's up, hero?
So, yes.
So he's a Christian, though,
Arkansas
right?
Capitol. It was at the Arkansas Capitol, and this dude, on top of that, this dude's a Christian.
Right.
And he did it because he believes in the separation of church and state, and he fucking rocks, and he's my new hero. So hey, dude, I tried to follow you on Twitter, but you don't have a Twitter account. So Michael Tate Reed.
Good on you, bro. So apparently they're already talking about the city council in that town where we're in Arkansas where he did it, that they're gonna get a new one.
Back up.
Try it again.
Yep. Wrap it down again.
Right. And and who knows? It could become a Supreme Court thing, and we're going to get back to some Supreme Court stuff today. But and get your mind around that the Supreme Court is just a draconian, right-wing, corporatist, authoritarian, mess. But there was a couple anniversaries this past week.
You started?
Yeah. I do, but hold on a minute before you get started. I'm going to get you started in a minute, bro, when we get back to it. But there was a couple anniversaries this week, man. One, it was the anniversary of the Freedom Summer murders. Most of you know it from the movie Mississippi Burning, where 3 civil rights activists were murdered by the Klan, and it was covered up by the Klan, and ultimately, if you see I don't claim to be an expert on these murders. I mean, I saw Mississippi Burning, bro. And so if Mississippi Burning is to believe, William Dafoe pretty much, single-handedly solved the case. But, so anyway, it was Andrew Goodman, Michael Schwirmer were from New York City, and James Chain was from Madison, Wisconsin. He was African-American. And, they were lynched, murdered by the Klan. And come to find out, it was, the entire community was Klan, bro. Sheriff and the judges and the lawyers and the, Nancy Smith down the street with the restaurant. All of them were just, straight up Klan. And so it got exposed on a massive scale for being what they were. And so that happened this week, 50 years ago. And how much has really changed? But and then the other anniversary, which is a much happier anniversary, was this the 20 I want to say 29th, but I think it's the 27th. Anyway, it's the 212th anniversary of the first formation of the IWW, the Industrial Workers of the World. 112 years that the union that I am a card-carrying member of, and has been organizing and communities and people all over the world for 112 fucking years, bro. It's pretty cool to be a part of that legacy. So if anybody's interested in learning more, there's a number of links that we posted on our Facebook page with histories and videos and stuff, and even on our YouTube channel. In our liked videos, there's some stuff in there that's really, really good. So check it out. So Michael, now is your cue. You're going to get to go off because the Supreme Court has put a sort of restricted, temporary, go ahead and do your disgusting fucking Islamophobic Muslim ban, right?
Yeah. SCOTUS is in full session, so they went ahead and approved a revised edition of the travel ban. So I'm gonna have to use my eyes for a change. Let me see here. It's 6 countries: Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, Yemen, and Iran. And the deal is now you can come here if you have a bona fide relationship with an American. Okay. Now, I heard somebody discussing it today, and there's no definition in immigration, in the immigration language for bona fide relationship. It's not there. So the Trump administration came out today and said, well, here's what a bona fide relationship is: father, mother, son, daughter, father. Oh, they went even farther. Oh, father-in-law, mother-in-law, right? So basically what they're doing now is they're defining families. And the problem with that is in these 6 countries and in these other religions and in these other cultures is their families are extended. And it goes beyond just those relationships. You've got aunts and uncles and cousins and neighbors and friends. I mean, so now the Trump administration is going to define families.
So cousins aren't family anymore, basically. There's one example.
Basically, it's they're still going to be able to kick anybody out that they want to, and it's because they're the ones defining it. Well, it's a bona fide relationship. Well, what is that? Well, we're going to tell you what it is. So, yeah, there's that.
And so,
go ahead. And it goes into effect tonight at 8:00 Pacific time.
Right.
So. It's already in effect.
It's already in effect, and right now, while we're recording this, which is it's close to 9 o'clock, right? Comrades that I marched with at the Pride March are down at the SFO airport right now, demonstrating against the Supreme Court decision. So I don't know if that's happening in other airports. Michael, you went to the first slew of.
Going on in LA.
It is going on in LA. Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
So
they're protesting in LA at LAX tonight.
If you're interested,
think about Ontario.
Right, and Michael went to the first one in Ontario, and there's video. We have that up, and you can take a look at that if you're interested. But so what is going to be the process? From here, Mike, does it? Are they going to continue to sort of delineate and discuss amongst? Go ahead.
Yeah, they're going to hear verbal arguments in fall.
Oh, okay. So this, what did you call it? A revised version is in place until post hearing arguments in the fall. So meanwhile, and I would take it this way, man.
Didn't you only say you wanted it 90 days anyways? So I mean, we're July, August, September. There's 90 days. Then we're in fall now. Right, because what? Supreme Court gets a 3-month vacation? How does that? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the Supreme Court schedule.
I don't think they work as many days as I do, but whatever the fuck.
I think they work. Yeah. But
they have health insurance and I don't. Oh, that's not a segue. SCOTUS is also on fire. You know what else they did this week, right?
What's that?
Fucking assholes. Sorry. Here, I'll tell you what they did. They ruled to give taxpayer money, my money, to a church in Missouri, Trinity Lutheran, to be exact, so that they can buy toxic recycled tire playground substrate.
Okay.
So we got a whole lot of shit like that. Yeah, apparently the deal was there was some federal program that they were offering money to upgrade playground equipment, I guess, for the public schools in the area, and this Trinity Lutheran wanted money, and they qualified except for the fact they were a church. So apparently it got to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court said they're entitled to it just like anybody else. It's kids, it's playground equipment, and then on top of that, it's recycled tires. We used to have to pay to get rid of tires here because they're toxic.
Well, that's a common thing I've seen at a number of places now. It's like a trend with the using the rubber. So but the thing is, it's not about rubber and playgrounds. What it is it's about government funding of a religious institution and setting that precedent.
Giving taxpayer money, our money,
right.
Taxpayer money to an institution that doesn't pay taxes.
Right. And couple that with Trump's promise to undo the, their restriction to endorse and that, from the pulpit and that kind of stuff. Because in order to have tax exempt status, it was something that Johnson had put in place. Was it the Johnson Amendment? I think it's called. I could be wrong about that, but it was a Johnson administration thing that if you got your, exempt status, you couldn't get up and endorse, right? Because that creates conflict of interest. And so now we have that conflict of interest.
No, but now there's no freedom of religion. The religious don't get to spew their First Amendment rights, I guess.
Which is ridiculous.
Because religions are entitled to First Amendment rights.
Right. And that's what makes what this guy did, knocking over these 10 Commandments, so significant. Because he is speaking out against a larger issue, which is it's not just the 10 Commandments in the courthouse. It's not just, shredded up tires in a playground. These are all linked together, and they're all setting a sort of list of precedences, right? A whole litany of precedences that are going to further give your not Christians. We talked about this last week. I'm sorry. I think they're heretics and they're not actually Christians. They call themselves Christians, but whatever. They're just fascists who use Jesus to justify their fucking fascism. And that's what's, they're just empowering them even more and more. So it's just another example of just the completely... And actually, I want to back up a little bit, bro. This is my, ultimate critique of like capitalism and democracy itself. Is that, you can put all these great things in place, like what FDR did, and the New Deal, and all these regulations and restrictions to hold Wall Street in check. And I think that those were all really great things, and they were the things that Bernie was calling for, right? And these are positive things, and that it created a middle class, and and innovation, and our boom in our infrastructure, and all this stuff, and research and development. But it begins the slow process of sort of whittling away at it. If we got right back to where we were under the the New Deal, and maybe even better, it's only going to be a process of time where these rich, greedy, fear-obsessed capitalists are going to come in and whittle away at all these protections and safety nets for us as humans, which, last I checked, that's what the government's supposed to do, right? Is protect us, the citizens. Huh? I'm sorry?
It's happening now.
Right.
That's what's happening now. That's exactly what's happening now.
And right. And what it is pretty much like the end of it. It's like they're the last little vestiges of all of that are remaining, the last little threads and inklings holding all that together. They're just like snip, snip, snip. It's...
Yes, exactly. That's what they have to do. Because their agenda is extremely unpopular.
Right.
Extremely.
Right.
I mean, what did I just read? Oh no, that's on the healthcare. That's on the healthcare bill. We'll talk about.
Well,
that.
no, let's go right to it, man. Look, no, that's great. Let's talk about the healthcare, because we're talking about things being done in secret, and so Yeah, let's talk about the Trumpcare.
This healthcare bill that the Senate didn't let any, that no Democrats have any say on whatsoever. I don't believe there's any women involved in this.
No, it was all white males.
It's all done in secret, and it came out. Well, let me think. It came out last Thursday night. I think they came out with it, and then the CBO scored it. I think on Tuesday, the Congressional Budget Office scored it on Tuesday. Their scores came out because McConnell wanted to ram this thing through before 4th of July,
right?
Which would be
you talked
Tuesday,
about last week, right?
So like Friday, they wanted to vote on it Friday because they get a long weekend. I have to work on Monday. They don't. Anyway, so he wanted to ram this through on Friday, but the CBO scored this thing really quick, and it came out and said that it's going to throw 22 million, well, 21.8 or something like that, but right close to 22 million people off of their health insurance within 10 years.
Right.
2026, I think, is what they were saying. 22 million people are going to lose their health insurance. Okay. So let me see. 22. Right. Hey, what do I got here? Basically, what it is, it's a tax cut for the rich.
Right.
All right.
Right.
Because what it is that I've got it all written out here. But a tax cut for the top 400 wealthiest people in the country. Okay. 9 Republicans balked. 9 Republicans said, I can't vote for this because they were flooded with calls from their constituents.
Can I stop you real quick right there, Mike, and just kind of hold you? Because one of them, one of those 9 was Dean Heller from Nevada, and
yep.
And I want to come back to the healthcare, but I'll just kind of talk about that real quick. I'm sure you know what I'm going to say. So Dean Heller, I am no fan of that dude. He's a right winger, and he's supported things in Nevada that I just thought were horrifying. And but he's balking on the healthcare bill, on Trumpcare, on supporting it because Nevada it has been traditionally a red state, and then it was really more a swing state, and then now it's really becoming significantly blue. And Harry Reid was from there, and he was the majority leader and minority leader forever, and all that stuff. And but so Nevada is Vegas down in the south, Reno up in top, and then it's all rural for the rest of it, right? So it's a very kind of confused state in that way. And so ultimately Dean Heller knows that, hey man, there's a lot of people in my state who hate this. And if I don't, so he's put in this bad position. So what Trump did, or what a PAC did, is put out this hardcore hit piece on Heller, but they did it with collusion with Trump. And it's even come out in the press that they actually had the conversation with Trump, and both sides are not denying that they said that Trump gave his specific approval to go ahead and give it to this guy, and then Heller even came back. So anyway, this is all just massive infighting and ridiculousness over this healthcare thing, and none of this infighting. It's all about them looking out for themselves. That each and every one of these scumbags are looking out for their own. Don't think that, I'm sure you know better than this, Michael, but don't think that any of these 9 Republicans are fighting this healthcare bill because of any sense of decency or care for us and our need for healthcare. But so anyway, that was just an interesting little sidebar about what's been going on with them, and I can let you get back to it. What you were saying.
Well, no, there are a few. I think there were 4 or 5 holdouts the other day, and then I heard today it went to 9. 4 of the 5 holdouts, though, I think there was only 1, maybe 1 or 2. One was a female senator, and I can't remember who she is. But she's a so-called moderate Republican that was holding out. But then you've got Rand Paul, and you've got a couple of these other repubes that are holding out because it doesn't go far enough. So maybe Heller's one of those. I don't know. But you've got some of these guys that are holding out because it doesn't go far enough. So anyways, 9 of them are holding out. All right. No Democrats are voting for this at all whatsoever. The Koch network has come out this week and threatened to withhold 2018 campaign donations.
That's right.
Until they overturn Obamacare. Okay? the 3.8% tax that pays for Obamacare that goes on the less than 20% capital gains tax. Okay, so they make money because they have money. They don't work. Their hands don't get bloody and fucked up because they're actually working with their hands. They're making money with money. So they get taxed. It's something that should be really super high in my opinion, but whatever. But they get taxed at less than 20%. All right? Now they're getting another 3.8% tax on top of that to pay for our insurance, and they don't like that. They want that, how many billions of dollars back, basically.
Right.
All right? So they said, fine, we're going to withhold, and they're planning on putting somewhere between 300 and 400, the Koch network is planning on putting somewhere between $300 and $400 in $400 million into the next campaign cycle. So
that's basically, there it is.
This is who's running our country.
Yeah, that's
this
billionaires. Completely. That's
fucking oligarchs.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
And they don't care about us. And they don't care about healthcare. And it's just like he was saying, not necessarily the senators either. They're protecting their bottom line, which is, it's about the money, Lebowski.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, and there it is. I mean, it's
here's
like
the other thing. This thing was scored. This thing was they polled. They polled about this. All right. This thing with I can't pronounce that.
Quinnipiac. Quinnipiac poll.
Yeah. CNN. They all did these polls on it, and it ranges anywhere between 12 and 17% approval on this bill. So only 12 to 17% of the American population approve of this freaking bill that they're trying to ram through. Now, it came out yesterday. Mitch McConnell came out freaking turtle face and said that, well, we're not going to vote on it by Friday, so, we have to go back and talk about it. And everybody's saying, well, yeah, it's good. You need to talk about it because it's fucked up.
Yeah.
The bill's fucked up. So it's actually worse. And I believe I said that, when the House bill came out and the Senate was going to get it, that we don't have to worry about it, that the Senate's going to do their thing. Well, the Senate did their thing, and it's even worse than the House bill. So,
right. Well, that's what I said. I had.
That's for me, bro. And this is my little side note on it. My thing is so I'm going, no big deal, right? The California Senate just passed single payer, and now it's got to go to the state assembly so they can vote on it, right? Which is our the state's equivalent of the House of Representatives.
Right.
And then, of course, freaking Brown's going to sign the thing. Of course she is, right? God damn. Freaking representative from Southgate blocked it and said, no, we're not going to vote on this. It's going to die in committee. So there was a big deal that I guess they weren't set up in his house, or set up in his office today. I think they went there today and set up in his office, so. Yeah, so I don't know what's going to happen. Now this car doesn't want us in California to have single payer, but we'll see what happens. So
what do you think, what is your tinfoil on the future of the healthcare bill, on the Trumpcare? Do you think this is going to become a thing?
Healthcare bill?
Do you think it'll become it's going to pass? Yeah.
It's going to pass.
Yeah.
They've hijacked our democracy. And the oligarchs are running it the way they want. They're getting what they want. They don't care about us. They don't care if we die. It's better for them if we do.
Yeah.
The bottom line is 22 million people without health care. People are going to die.
Yep. It's
the truth. I mean, look at any facts. I was talking to my customer today, my favorite Limpro customer.
Uh-huh.
And supporters. How can you believe this bullshit? How do you buy this? He says they just lie. They just believe the lies.
Yeah. Because they want to believe it. Dude. So if they just need one talking point. If they get one talking point, they're good. Good, I got my talking point, and I can disregard everything else now. I have my talking point. I'm good. I can, I'm sufficiently head up my butt and liking it. One of my favorite things to say to people online and when I'm being shitty and snarky is, I'm curious, is their head get hot and sweaty up there? And sometimes they know what I'm talking about and sometimes they don't. But yeah. Okay, so there's, God damn. So they passed this health bill. health care bill in secret, or attempt to, or whatever, and then which is indicative of what the press can't record in the goddamn White House press room. How do we have a fucking... How is this possible, bro? Like, it's such a fucking...
It's like this girl was saying on Democracy Now! It's shock and awe. It's their shock and awe campaign. Just baffle them with bullshit.
Yeah.
We got to talk about Mika Brzezinski's tweet, the Trump tweet about her face bleeding.
Yeah.
No, let's talk about that. Let's continue to talk about Russia. But in the meantime, Scott Pruitt is fucking the EPA and fucking us.
Right.
All right?
Right.
Betsy DeVos is fucking up education for all of us.
That's right.
Don't keep believing. Don't be baffled by the bullshit.
It's true.
Don't be baffled by the bullshit. The tweets are bullshit. Look at all this that's going on. Woo, woo, woo. And out here, guess what we're doing down here? That's what we're doing.
No, that's the truth, bro. And that's the thing. It's like, and
this is their plan.
Well, and that's the thing, bro. Is like this whole thing with the White House press room is that's them just telling you. That's them straight up telling you, look, dude, we're gonna do a lot of fucked up shit to you, and we're just not gonna tell you about it anymore. We're just not gonna tell you, but know that we're doing really fucked up shit to you. Yeah. So fuck off. Hopefully you die, and hopefully there's enough of you left over. So, I don't know, you can make burgers for us. And, because we need to be driven to the airport.
Fox News.
Right. Keep Fox News alive, drive me to the airport, what
And I gotta say something. I don't know if we talked about this in our pre-production show, but the creeper in chief and how he oogled that reporter from Ireland.
Right. So yes. Well, let me just stop you, Michael. Let me just stop you real quick. I want to clarify a little bit what we mentioned about Mika Brzezinski, because we just kind of threw it out there, and if people don't understand, so I can clarify that a little bit, and then yes, let's talk about.
Well,
go ahead.
Okay, so here's the story. Okay, here's the story I get, right? So Trump called. I guess 3 guys from CNN got fired this week. They resigned.
Right.
Because they quoted a story with only one source that was not a good source, okay? And it ended up being a false story, and CNN had to retract it, so 3 guys lost their job over this, right? So the tweeter-in-chief gets on, and he's like, see, I told you CNN fake news, but what about ABC, CBS, and NBC, blah, blah,
right.
blah.
All right? Fake news.
And then, right, they're all fake news. It's all still fake news, right? And then it comes out, he has Photoshopped Time magazine covers in
Correct.
5 of his properties with his face on it.
That never came out. That are not ever actual Time magazine covers. And Time magazine said, hey, Cheeto, veto the fucking Time magazine covers on your wall, bro, because they're nonsense bullshit. And you can't have them up there selling your fucking bullshit image by way of our fucking magazine. Fucking douche. God, man. So
they were pissed. So check it out. So MSNBC's now doing a story about this morning. Yesterday morning, they were doing a story about it, right? And 40 minutes later, after they did that story, Trump starts tweeting that, it's funny now, they all begged to come out to Mar-a-Lago, and when they did, Mika's face was bleeding, from surgery, from
plastic surgery, right?
Blah blah blah.
Gross, or just and it was such a foul tweet, dude. It just, the even Republicans were, it's below the stature of the office and blah blah blah, which is just an opportunity for some freaking self-serving, self-righteous Republican cocksucker to make himself look good for his constituents for a minute. Like, oh, I am so repulsed by Donald Trump's tweet.
Bullshit.
I am so above it, and I have class as I rob healthcare from 22 million people right along with the dude I'm insulting.
I believe it was the CEO of MSNBC or the CEO of NBC. I don't know who the guy was, but he tweeted, he's like, I never thought that I would have to make a choice on whether I should ignore the President of the United States. Like he was debating that whether he should come out and retweet or make a statement about it, and he's like, I really never thought in my entire life I would actually have to question whether I should ignore or respond to something from the president of the United States.
Right.
Well,
listen, bro. Prior to frickin' Trump, however you felt about any of the presidents, or even just the office of the president itself, when a president made a statement historically up until about a few months ago, there was a whole process that they went through, man. They got their whole frickin' cabinet together, their speech writers, all these people, and vetted all the information in it first, and then made sure it properly manipulated people, and let's be real, right? But it was really about anticipating what all the various responses could be according to this statement from the president. How is this statement going to be viewed by history? And many presidents were aware of that context of what a president does. And so I totally understand why this this guy from MSNBC never fathomed, do I write about a tweet or not? It's just so foreign from traditional precedents.
I mean, we thought Bush was a child and stupid and didn't know what he was talking about.
Right. And he was.
He didn't have Twitter.
Right. And he wouldn't have used it. Even Bush Jr. And he wouldn't have been freaking tweeting out stuff at 4 a.m. It's so ridiculous. And stop paying attention to that shit. You know what I mean? And but they're forcing us to look at what he tweeted. Look at what he tweeted. And it's all a freaking dog and pony show.
I guess if you watch CNN, I don't watch CNN.
Right. So what was the? So talk about again. So the photographer. You know what I'm talking about? The ogling the female photographer. She was a photographer, right?
She was a reporter.
Oh, a reporter.
She was a reporter, and I believe he was on the phone with the Prime Minister of Ireland.
That's right. Sure, but it's or at least the ambassador, or a very very high official from Ireland.
He sees this young lady over in the corner, and I swear it was Irish news station or whatever it was, right? And he's like, hey, hang on, hey, come here, you got a nice smile. Okay, thanks. That kind of thing. It's like, dude, that is like the definition of sexual harassment.
Right.
You don't freaking do that shit, man.
The president.
Yeah, the president.
It's just insane. So now we can get back. Let's get back to Scott Pruitt. You mentioned him earlier, but you have plenty of more information to share about.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, we're paying attention to Mika Brzezinski's tweets, or Trump's tweets about Mika Brzezinski.
Or CNN sketches of the press room.
Asshole.
Right.
Yeah, the EPA asshole Scott Pruitt met with the Dow Chemicals CEO. Okay, so he met with the CEO of Dow Chemicals. 20 days later, which was just like the other day, 20 days later, overturns a ban from 2000 on a pesticide that kills ticks and mites, and is also known to cause brain damage in kids.
Wow.
So, follow all that?
Well, there's more to it than that, too. I mean, there's so much more to it.
So basically, there's this chemical, and chloral...
I'm going to let you go. Explain it. I got to step over here real quick.
Look this thing up. Chloropyrifos. Okay? It's a organic phosphate. Organophosphate is what it is, okay? And what it does, it interrupts the electrochemical processes that nerves use to communicate with muscles and other nerves. That's how it kills ticks and mites. It's basically like a miticide is what they use it for, to kill mites, all right? It's also known as an endocrine disruptor. I don't know if you've ever heard of an endocrine disruptor. I talked about it on a way long time ago show.
I've heard of endocrinologists.
and we have an endocrine system in our body. Okay, we also have a cannabinoid system, but that's another story. So we have this endocrine system, and this is known to disrupt it. And basically what this stuff does, and I'm gonna have to find my notes here. It has adverse developmental, reproductive, neurological, and immune effects. So it affects all that. The way you develop, it affects the way you reproduce, it affects your neurology, and it affects your immune system. All right? BPA is an endocrine disruptor. BPA is the chemical that they put in plastic water bottles. Okay? It's also, so whenever you get a receipt, it's got this BPA on it. That's an endocrine disruptor. Okay? This is also an endocrine disruptor. This is known to cause, the bottom line is, dude, it causes brain damage. It can go anywhere from low IQ to forms of autism. And 20 days after Scott Pruitt meets with the CEO of Dow Chemical that produces this shit, they says, yeah, you know what? Let's go ahead and use it. I think I'm good with that.
Yeah. And just to be clear,
today,
this is... Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, this is going to be used on a massive industrial scale. This is not like, it's not like, oh, hey, it's okay. You gotta, this is for massive agricultural use, right? I mean, like...
This isn't, I mean, I guess, Roundup is the same freaking thing. Right. Roundup is known to have all kinds of adverse effects, too. But yeah, we can buy that crap at Home Depot and spray it in our yards, and it our kids in almost the same way. All right? But this is a widely, this was banned in the year 2000, man, because it was known to cause brain damage. And the farmers' kids that were, whatever they were spraying this chemical on to kill the mites, or I guess, was he brain, probably, I'm thinking? So, yeah, so this is what he's doing. Today, I saw on Tom Hartman that the EPA now has rolled back regulations on our water, that they're trying to figure out which waterways that the Clean Water Act actually covers now, apparently, or something. I didn't get the whole complete story on it, but the bottom line is now they've rolled back regulations on our water. So Trump's saying we're going to have the cleanest air and the cleanest water. Fucking lie, all right? We're not going to have the cleanest water, and we're going to, who knows? We can have Flint, dude. We can have Flint. Flint's still
all across the country. I mean, that's what I was just thinking. Is like, in the wake of Flint, what you should do is remove regulations to ensure clean water. Like, it's the exact opposite of the direction we need to go.
Jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, kids are gonna die, but hey, you got your job at the coal factory. You should be all good, right?
I mean, are you the viewers, listeners, whatever? Are you detecting a pattern of like absolute and utter destruction here? Like, you know, it was Chomsky who said it, you know, a month or so ago. I'm sure you remember, Mike, when he talked about how the Republican Party is the most dangerous and you know, murder-inducing institution or organization in human history. And he's right. You know, but I mean, that doesn't make that, like, all of a sudden the Democrats okay. You know, because, I mean, yeah. I don't know. So, which is, I think, maybe a perfect segue now, Mike, into Steve Bannon at CPAC. Because... he laid it out.
Yeah, what an asshole.
He laid it out. You know, people want to say that it's conspiracy theory, whatever, that the reason Trump is picking all these frickin' like buffoons and like draconian fascists to run all of these different departments, you know, Betsy DeVos at the education and Ben Carson, housing and urban debt, like every step, each and every single one, it's like, this person is going to destroy this department. How could they not? And so we said, so you know, it's tinfoil to say, well, that's on purpose. You and I, Mike, have been saying all along that that's why he's ahead, that that's the reason for appointing these people, these specific people to these departments, so that they can just freaking wreak havoc and destroy them, right? Well, Steve Bannon came out and said that that's exactly what the fuck they're doing, is that he used that word, we're about deconstructing, and that's what these appointments are about, that's what the whole cabinet purpose is to completely destroy all the infrastructure of our government. It's Grover Norquist, you know, it's reduce government to the size of a toaster, or we're small enough so you can drown it in a bathtub, or whatever it was that fucktard said, you know. And Bannon is all about it, man. That dude totally believes that he needs to instill massive chaos and bring about like this dystopian revolution. That's fate. That's what the universe wants, or whatever, some religious notion of the end times and all that stuff. And he wants to do it. He wants to invite the freaking absolute destruction of society. Not what anarchists and socialists and liberals want, which is, or leftists want, is a complete revamping and a change of all that, and a system that works better for everybody involved equally, right? Horizontal organizing as opposed to top-down authoritarian stuff. You know, there's methodology and empathy and community and solidarity at the root of all of that. But Steve Bannon, this guy wants it all to end by there just being a massive clusterfuck of violence and chaos and murder and destruction and misery, and this is what he wants. And he's getting it. He's getting it. I encourage you, if people don't know what I'm talking about, go on YouTube and put Steve Bannon CPAC, and you'll see it's. My jaw was dropped, and he only his little thing was, he spoke for like 3 minutes. This little clip.
It was on Democracy Now! Today.
Yeah, it was on Democracy Now! Today, and so you can watch it there. But it's not like it's a big surprise. The reason it's important is because there it is. There's your literal proof. If you had any doubts whatsoever that the whole purpose of the Trump administration is to destroy everything and bring chaos, well, there it is. He's the senior advisor to the president. I mean, Trump likes Jared Kushner because he's all bougie and, East Coast elite guy, and people like to have their martinis with him or whatever, right? So he likes to use him for that. But Steve Bannon's the dude that's in Trump's ear.
Because he's doing his daughter.
Yeah. So I get what we have next on the as another thing that they did talk about on Democracy Now! But we've talked a number of times, and I'm sure we will continue to talk in the future about the J20 arrests and what went down with some of these J20 defendants in the arrest process. Yeah, man, they that was They raped them. These cops fucking pulled them out, pulled them aside. And this was outdoors, pulled their fucking pants down, stuck their thumb up their ass, grabbed their fucking testicles, and while the other officers laughed.
Why? I mean, how do you get off on that? You go pull somebody else's balls and where you're supposed to. Don't protesters really? How was that okay? How is that possibly okay?
It's not. I
don't understand how. And a cop, why? I mean, that would never even come into my mind. Even if I was trying to put myself in the cop's shoes and go, okay, I'm a cop, and I just arrested these anarchists, and let me see, I think I want to stick my finger up their butt. Seriously?
Right. I'll show you. I'll show you, you
What's
dumb.
The worst thing I can do to these people? Oh, let me see, I think I want to stick my finger up their butt. What the fuck is that? I don't understand that at all. I mean, you can do a whole lot of horrible, torturous things to people without sticking your finger in their butt.
And grabbing their balls.
That's the
and grab their balls. And they grab their testicticles.
And play with their balls.
It's fucking rape.
Really? You want to play with my balls? What the fuck?
It's rape.
I don't understand. So, yeah, I guess the ACLU is suing.
Good.
But it's,
yeah.
I guess
they're defending 4 people, I believe. I think they have, the ACL is defending 4 people, I think. 4 of the defendants, I think, was.
Yeah, I think so. I heard 2 of them speaking on Democracy Now! Talking about it.
Right. And and again, just to reiterate too, on top of that ultimate massive nightmare, this is over 200 journalists, protesters, medics, were kettled indiscriminately, on Inauguration Day in Washington, D.C., and hundreds of them are arrested, and all of them are being charged with, riot and the enhanced charge of conspiracy to riot. They all have like 4 or 5 different felonies and a number of gross misdemeanors and other things, totaling to about between 75 and 80 years a person is what they're all looking at. because apparently it took 200 plus people to break a couple windows and light one limo on fire, and that constitutes a riot somehow. And somehow they conspired to do that and for it to be a riot. It's all bullshit. It's all made up crap. They want to destroy these people's lives. Mike, they have to a lot of these people that are defendants, they don't live in D.C. They they live in Wisconsin and Nebraska and California or wherever, but they have all these fucking hearings regularly that they have to go to in DC as part of this process, and they have to pay for it themselves, right? I mean, come on, bro. Can you afford to fly to, I don't know, how about Sacramento 3 times a month?
Jeez, really?
Just to Sacramento,
Really?
just from Redlands to Sacramento. Could you pull that off financially? Fuck no, you couldn't, bro. I'm sorry to answer for you, but no. But these people are having to fly to DC regularly. And then there's, we talked in a previous show about Crime Think Experts Collective put together a podcast where they talk about, it's people who are centrally involved with the J20 case, the Dapple case, and the one of the members of the RNC 8. And they talk about that there's numerous times they'll do things where you have an appointment or a hearing or whatever it is scheduled for this specific date. So these people have to take the time off to work. They buy the airline tickets. They get, the round trip tickets, all that stuff. They get there. They show up to the court and they went, oh, yeah, we decided to reschedule that for... so they, flew to DC, paid, missed work, had to make reservations for accommodations and these kind of things, and for nothing. And that they're going to have to now do again, that same thing. It's not like that's one hearing down. No, that's just one extra one. And so this stuff is methodical and on purpose to destroy these people. And if there was any indication or any inkling of hope that maybe they were looking for justice, they fucking butt raped a bunch of them. Okay? They butt raped some of them as they took them to fucking jail. And laughed about it while they did. And I guarantee you not one of those, God damn it, the ACLU, that, maybe they'll get a good, strong civil suit, but I doubt any of these freaking, pigs are going to do time.
What, cops do time?
Or end up being registered sex offenders or any of that,
You could shoot a guy at point blank range with 7 fucking bullets and kill a motherfucker and not go to jail. So, with video, you can shoot a guy walking away from you in the back.
Yeah.
And not go to jail.
Right.
You can shoot a 12-year-old kid with a cap gun in 12 seconds and not go to jail.
Right. You can.
And let's see. Wait. Yeah.
Well, you can shoot a guy who's running away from you, shoot him in the back numerous times, and then submit a report with your partner saying that he had a gun, and then go plant the gun on him, and then guess what? Video proof comes out that was exactly what you did, was that you shot a dude in the back numerous times and then planted a gun on him, and get away with it. Yeah. And maybe stick your finger up a fucking few guys' butts on the way, It's just, Jimmy Dore talks about it all the time, dude. They're maniacs. Every single one of them are fucking maniacs. And the reason I would invoke Jimmy Dore is because his dad was a cop, his grandpa was a cop, his brothers are cops, his uncles are cops, he was raised by cops, and he'll tell you every single fucking one of them is a maniac. And I've said this for years, it's what is going on in someone's brain that makes them think, I want to be a cop? It's because you're a power-tripping, insecure, terrified fucking little child who wants to just destroy everyone that ever fucking made fun of you or just scared you. So they're maniacs, just like Jimmy.
What goes on in your head to think, I think I want to stick my finger up that guy's butt?
Like that's going to make him go, wow, you showed me, I'm going to disregard all my beliefs and all the books that I've read and all the experiences I've had in life that led me to this conclusion of why I don't like Trump, and I would travel here as an anarchist to demonstrate, because you stuck your finger up my butt. Yeah, now I don't believe in any of it. What you did, you dumb fucking maniac pig, is you just reinforced his hatred and rebellion against the system. It's reinforced mine. You fucking, on the way to the fucking jail, you pulled over and stuck your finger up some people's ass and laughed about it? That's our police in this country? What the
DC
hell?
Metro Police.
You know, and so look, we can kind of move on from that, and I want to segue into, many people have heard online. I want to be careful because I don't want to talk about anybody specific, but there's a very well-known activist in Portland. He's very well-known throughout the Portland community. He does all kinds of organizing and, you know, obviously demonstrating in the streets. He's very involved with the Anarchist community, and he was arrested on May Day this year, and he was arrested at the Pride demonstration just this last week, and he is heavily doxxed by the alt-right. He's regularly threatened with murder and just really terrifying, ugly things. He is regularly targeted on the street because he's recognized by so much of the Portland Police Bureau, the PPB, so he gets harassed on the street, walking down the road regularly by police, and like I said, targeted. And the thing that's significant about him is this happens to a lot of people all around the country, and there's anarchists who, if you want to be active that way, and I'm not about participating in property damage and stuff, and I'm not discrediting people who make that choice. It's just not. I don't know. I guess I'm too old. I don't know. Whatever it is, I don't know what it is, but it's not old. It's just not my way. It's never been my thing. But there's a lot of people do that and are targeted. The difference between most of those people and this person is he's 13 fucking years old, bro. He's 13 years old, and so he's facing felony charges right now, and you know, he. So at the Pride March in Portland, a lot of people may have seen the video and stuff. There was a masked up person who walked through a crowd and maced one of those fascist freedom warrior fucking white nationalist scumbags that are traveling to all these leftist rallies and disrupting them and starting fights. So this dude walks up and maces him, but he's masked up, so you can't see his identity. Minutes later, people in the crowd go, it's this guy, and it's this young activist, anarchist kid. But they can't prove it was him because, well, the person who maced the dude is wearing a mask, right? And he's 13, so they can't arrest him. You need parents involved in that kind of stuff, and they don't have proof anyway, so they let him go. And so later in the day, him and one of his comrades are at another section or area of this demonstration, and one of the I'll back up a little bit and come back to it. Is one of the real prominent issues at a couple of the different pride parades throughout the country this week was that not just the presence of police at them, but the nature of their presence at some of these pride parades. So in Portland, they had recruiting booths at the pride parade, and okay, whatever. If you're okay with the concept of there being a police department, and yes, they need to recruit.
Cop recruiting booth
at a pride parade. And that's why it's significant, because the reason for the existence of the fucking very tradition of the pride parade is because, you know, in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, you know, you had the massive targeting of the gay community in San Francisco and huge riots. You had people like in the East Coast and stuff, you know, people from the LGBT community. The only place that they could meet and gather was like in truck freaking parking lots, you know, truck stop alleys, and, you know, I mean, this really dangerous, seedy sort of environment. And like, they were fucking fed up with it. They just wanted to be with the people that they cared and loved about and not have to be ashamed of it and beaten down and tortured and ridiculed like viciously on a routine basis, which is what they were going through and still go through in many, many ways. But they just wanted to be able to declare it, and it wasn't just from the community. It was the community and the police. They were in it together. If you were a citizen and you went out and bashed a bunch of, you know, LGBTQ people, cops didn't care. They were cool with it. In fact, they're going to come and fucking help you, you know. And so they wanted to somehow figure out a way to separate themselves from that massive, massive brutality and oppression, and that's where the Pride Parade tradition comes from. So for cops to be demonstrating not demonstrating, but recruiting in the midst of that, it is just so offensive on so many levels. You know what I mean? And so they were being daunted and ridiculed all over from all kinds of people all day in Portland. And there was issues with that. I may be wrong about this, but I want to say like Chicago, but there was another major city more closer to the East Coast that had this same kind of issue at it. They were not happy with the way that the police were present and the type of presence they were creating at the Pride March. And so anyway, this same kid who I've been describing, this 13-year-old, he goes over to the police recruiting booth, and they have free stickers out there, and he's talking smack, and admittedly, and these other people are talking smack, and you know, all kinds of people. And he went over to reach for a sticker, and they just like brutalized him and arrested him, and then charged him with the stuff from earlier that they couldn't charge him for, and they were railroading this kid, and so he's got like 4 different charges against him, felonies, and apparently he recently got a lawyer, which is great. But so anyway, this is just, why is, you know, like it's almost like, why is the full weight of a police force coming after this 13-year-old kid, man? Why? Because he clued in that their capitalist authoritarian fucking system is oppressive and raping demonstrators in the street and fucking, you know, like
lying and doing whatever they want and acting above the law and railroading people and making false claims up, you know, for anybody because for whatever reason. I mean, come on, I got evidence of it here. I told you about what happened to my buddy, how they couldn't catch him on his motorcycle, so they said that he stole a 6-pack of beer and the guy never drank a beer in his life.
Right.
And they tried to, you know, he had to go through all this shit. He had to get a, you know, public defender, and then he had to get a real lawyer. And it just, you know, one thing after another. And it's like, they don't care if you have to travel this far. They're going to make it hard on you. And apparently, if you're a lawbreaker, you have no rights. It's fucked up.
Well, you don't. And if you read the 13th Amendment, that's true. Because if you're a prisoner, you can be a slave, according to the 13th Amendment. If you're
exactly. If you're a prisoner, you're a slave.
Yeah, and you know, and so and here's the thing too is like, you know, I want to be careful not to sort of encourage people to engage in the type of activities that this youngster was engaging in, even whether you're an adult or a child, because he's been arrested numerous times now. He is going to pay a price for this for a very, very long time, man, whatever becomes of it, you know, and I commend him because I know that his cause is just. At least I feel it is, because it's a cause I agree with. You know, what he hopes to achieve and what he's trying to see ended are two things I agree with. He sees that there's a massive rise in bigotry and racism and fascism in the country, and it scares him. And in Portland, there's a real fucking war on. There's some really significantly large racist hate groups in Oregon, you know, and so it's on there. So anyway, I want to say to that young comrade in Portland, dude, just stay up. Listen to that lawyer you got, and I know that there's a lot of people in your community that are pulling for you, and so if there's developments, I'm going to keep people posted. But it's just it affects everything on every level throughout our society. This policing mechanism of capitalism, you know, it's not here for any of us. It just. Anyway, I guess I've said enough about that. Unless you had any more that you wanted to add about, you know, the wonderful nature of police force in the United States. So we can move on.
You know, I mean, come on, dude. After that San Bernardino protest that I was at, and they're carrying Blue Lives Matter flags and taking selfies with the cops. It's like, fuck that.
And if you want to be friends with them, you can't be my friend. Because you're friends with a maniac and with an oppressive fucking out-of-control maniac with a gun and a license to kill.
They're the largest gang in the country.
Largest gang in the country. And here's the thing, officers. You're people. You're not cops. You're humans just like us. And actually, the things that me and Mike want for the world, we want it for you too. And maybe a lot of anarchists don't like that because they fucking hate cops so much, and I do too. But, you know, in my utopian world, we don't shit on them. They don't get oppressed. We don't revert and return the oppression on them. They get to be equally free. We're fighting for fucking them too. and they just don't know it. And it's, all you're doing is fighting for like a few thousand people, a few thousand very wealthy people. You're a stooge, man, and you're hurting humanity in any way. So there's things you can do about it, bro. There's things you can do about the injustice in the world, and one of them is getting out in the streets. And there's a new thing. It's just a freaking hashtag that I'm starting. So anytime I post or share an event or a flyer or something that has to do with any type of upcoming street action or demonstration or forum, I'm throwing the hashtag resistance calendar on it. So what I'm going to do now is read off a few upcoming demonstrations, give people a heads up. We'll try and do this every week, let you know that there's some things coming up in the next 5 weeks. And most of what I have today is just some West Coast stuff, but I usually have friends on the East Coast too and in the Midwest, and if I see stuff for demonstrations, we'll throw them in the resist calendar. So, well, right now, the airports are on. We talked about that. People are out demonstrating against the Supreme Court decision on the Muslim ban. And then, let's see, so tomorrow at the Reno Federal Building, there's the Stop Repeal rally, which is put on by the OFA. And that is, I believe, at 7 o'clock, but there's an event page on our Facebook page, so you can take a look there and get all the details of it. That's tomorrow at the Federal Building. It's the rally against the repeal of Obamacare. And then, let's see, so also on the 1st is at Revolution Books. They're doing the Beyond the Band series, or a Beyond the Band series of films, and they're going to show children's literature from basic, as it pertains to immigrants' issues and struggles with minority kids, and so that should be really cool. That's the 1st at Revolution Books, and again, there's an event page on our Facebook page, so you can find it there. July 4th, dude, is a big giant anti-4th of July picnic at San Pablo Park in Berkeley, and I plan on going to that, and that's going to be real fun. So it's a full-on picnic and demonstration against the history and celebration of 4th of July. And then lastly on today's, well, I have 2 more things on today's list, and one you're going to hear about a lot is, as people know, I've been marching recently with Refuse Fascism, and they're calling for a huge nationwide demonstration against the regime, the Trump regime, on July 15th. So I'll be attending probably the Bay Area version of that, which is going to be at UN Plaza, but they're going to be all over the country. And then, again, that's on July 15th. And then also coming up on July 27th in Reno is at the Market Street in Reno. This is going to be really, really cool. It's called they're calling it Readings from Resistance, and it's going to feature. It's put on by PLAN, the Progressive Leadership Alliance of Nevada, and we've talked about them on the show before, Mike, when we talked about a lot of the BLM March stuff and. Anyway, they're good people, and so they're going to feature a number of speakers. They're going to do readings and from their own works and from other works, and they're calling it a town crier style public meeting, but it's going to feature Bob Fulkerson, Monique Normand, and Cynthia Harmon Jr., Beverly Harry, Sheila Leslie, and a whole bunch more. So that should be really, really fun. It's at the Market Street Cafe in Reno on July 27th. So that's all I got today for the Resistance Calendar, bro. Okay, guys, that pretty much wraps up this week's weekly What the Fuck report. I just want to take this quick opportunity to tell you about some videos that we posted this week. For starters, first and foremost, Mike posted a really awesome midweek music. It's called Mikey's Midweek Music, the Bloomington gig, where you got to see BASREV, which is short for Basic Revolutionaries. There was Archer O and Foolish Johns, and he got really great footage of all of them, and he actually was able to incorporate a little bit of footage from the BuzzRev DVD, and anyway, it's a really, really cool video. It gives you a little bit of a rundown at the beginning of it, so definitely check that out. I put up a video this week, which is a double report from the I marched with the resistance contingent with Refuse Fascism, at the Pride March in San Francisco. So I reported from that. And then after the march, I went over to the Grassroots House in Berkeley and helped. I volunteered at the Prisoners Literature Project, which in the video you'll notice there's not one time that I can properly pronounce the words Prisoners Literature Project, but it really is a great, really great program. They package up, they get just books from everywhere, and they package them up and they send them to prisoners all over the country and send them letters. So I got to volunteer and do that, and then got a quick interview with Alex Abolition, who was facilitating the program that day, and he gives us kind of a quick rundown of the history of the Prisoners Literature Project and all the services they offer and what days they offer their program and how you can go about volunteering with them. And so check that video out. Again, it's called Double Report on Pride and Prisoners. And then lastly, I put up Submedia put up their fourth installment in the Trouble series. This one is called No Justice, Just Us, and it's all about community organizing for protection in light of J20 demonstrators who are looking at 80-year sentences each, which we talked about earlier in the video. The whole DAPL, hundreds of people who were arrested in the DAPL Standing Rock demonstrations, and just the full weight of corruption that's coming down on all of these different people. And how do you go about, I mean, it's not like you can call the police when it's the police that are oppressing you. So it's about, community protection and self-organizing, and it's just really, really an amazing, informative, excellent, positive video about how to take control of your own life. So check that video out. Again, it's Trouble number 4, No Justice, Just Us. And if you go to submedia.com, they actually, these videos, this Trouble series they encourage people to watch them in groups and have discussions and hopefully as a catalyst to go out and organize for themselves. And so if you go to submedia.com, they have little packets that they put together that help you facilitate that type of event, group discussions and that kind of thing. So really, really amazing series. So check out our video. Make sure you check out submedia.com. And lastly, if you found this video at all informative, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Punks for Progress. Go to our Facebook, like and share our stuff there. We share a lot of great articles, a lot of really silly nonsense and punk rock stuff too, but we keep you up to date with demonstrations and stuff, like what I explained earlier in the resistance calendar hashtag. And then lastly, we are on the tweeters. So that's punks the number 4 on Twitter, so hit us up there. And lastly, before we bone out, I just want to say that we got a lot of new subscribers this last week, and a number of you did come to us by way of It's Going Down. So again, we want to thank It's Going Down a hell of a lot for giving us a forum to occasionally post our videos and what we do here, and really want to thank you guys for subscribing. Welcome here, man. So get on our stuff, comment, talk to us, talk about what you would like to see us do. We really want to grow this show and offer you something cool. So anyway, dude, thanks a lot. See ya.